If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes... There we go!
You want me on your team?
This was Cesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Cesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
And voila!
Whoa. Look, the doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look. These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate. That lit up at the start, right? There should be another wish list inside. Let's keep trying. That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. I'm starting to wonder whether Cesar built this. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe, aha! If I just move this...
A secret passage!
I'm a magician too, and apparently looks pretty big inside. Let's get this show on the road! Now disappear! Step right up. Here comes the finale. Now disappear.
Why have you stopped, Lyney?
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys... If anyone makes a major discovery, let's rendezvous...
Alright, see you in a bit.
The placement of this device inside...
Body and mind. Time to act.
Wow! There's a hidden room here! This book's thick as a brick!
At one of my as a joke, so I wound up... Two children came to... Anyway, I told them that... It seems like something... Surely he's... I have a good... They have all... They wanted to call me with time. Gemma thinks so... It's nearly time for. I once over. It's only been. They're very tough. They hide things. That's the thing about. I can sense after thinking things. P.S. P.P.S. Oh, Cesar.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lyney and... So... Lyney?
Shh. Oh,
Fishy?
all in good. First, the magician slots at this point. Meanwhile, oh no!
Very vivid.
The audience's gaze then. Of course, that's just how I think. The inventor of this, he fell right to the. And no one else had.
So Caesar's fake Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's... Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to...
Glad you asked. That brings us to this box right here is the one that Cesar constructed himself to use in the performance. And it's not as simple as it looked. Once the magician's inside and the box is lifted up from where they're standing, they have a clear... At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view. He then escapes through this trapdoor onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns to ground level.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is there's the falling dummy. The many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long, but one that still manages to transform the shock and grief of a tragic act. Cesar was a
So, how did it go so wrong? You said you found some fishy stuff here. Have you figured out what really happened?
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files.
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which, because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on the most important details, but a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to... The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth... And so... Cesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with, but in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, exactly, I think that's likely what happened. Cesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape, but I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. So he opened the compartment, took out the... Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on. Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, with the stakes being as high as they were.
When in reality, someone switched. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed?
It would have to have been someone who knew that. Isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie. There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. Silencing you the hard way just creates more problems for me to deal with. Gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but you disappoint me.
You mean Gemma? So you are the one who's been threatening her?
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability. But you people, you never eat, which is why you can't leave this place alive. Take them out.
Now disappear! Yeah. Step right up! Oh! Yeah. show on the road! And voila! Zah! Yeah! Zah! Step right up! Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't... I think it's high time you started talking. And what I'd really like to know is... why did you murder Cesar? Well...
What choice do I have? So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10...
Very well. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo.
At least I can finally...
As a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Paimon's excited to see another of Lyney's magic shows!
Not this time. My brother's going so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The great magician Lyney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an all-new...
Wow!
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mist...
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Cesar was a So, how did you two first...
Well, I was out on the street once, and I saw him perform. Children love magic, because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Cesar had this amazing way of bringing them, and somehow, I felt drawn to him too. So...
Aw, that sounds so...
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and I was so happy.
Oh, that's so cute!
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Cesar. After all, you never know.
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but at the very least...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what? The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean?
As Lyney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to...
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope there will now be a brief intermission, after which Lyney will perform the most electrifying act. The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please make...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places. Don't worry. this place will be quiet soon. Let's talk.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks. This is a big mistake for a magician to make. But thankfully, I do have a backup plan.
Lyney, don't we have more important things to address? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago.
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking. I know the questions you want to ask. And as it happens, the story I'm about to tell might...
Really? Well then...
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and no treasure was... But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a... After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Cesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities for people to buy the story.
So...
Being the master deceiver she was, the Weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't... At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the Weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make even me wonder whether there was really another mastermind behind all this. But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale. What's brought this on, Lyney? Is it some...
Don't worry, Lorenzo said, but I never believed that he was the Weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession, as if...
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, are equally talented in... With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is unshakable. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind his demise? No, not that poor lady.
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? Gemma and Lorenzo were... But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of admitting to being the...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Lyney, if you're so confident in your version of events, then I think the answer should be having killed Caesar with his own hands. Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel remained free, then she could take care of
An excellent answer.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting...
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to... Why would the real Weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people? Could you shed...
Of course. After all, we're just telling stories here. If I had to guess, I would say that the real Weasel left to fend for herself after her parents died young. But she'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed, and she was content. Until the world decided that even this was too good for her. And this time everything was taken from her. She felt like life was a miry pit. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding. I detest the happiness of others. I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true.
That's some...
Does this story...
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my
Huh. That's right! Because without that, none of this would have ever...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. But it seems like someone's... Lyney. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Cesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it? You had no...
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me
10 years ago? You mean Caesar's death? Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. It's been so long, and you're all grown up now. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all...
We remember all our debts. However, 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, and no one cared. But we did not forget. And so we came to...
And? What exactly did you take from me? I'm still standing, as you can see. Lorenzo has admitted to...
Free? Cesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with nostalgic value, fervent hopes and dreams. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became...
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of... Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be direct. He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. He's the reason that you haven't felt the compulsion to... You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, deep down, that he is the only truth you have in... But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee...
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale.
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Cesar. This was the very trick that led, but we have now learned that Cesar was wrongly accused, and that the real Weasel...
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been practicing this one for ages now. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but...
Lyney, wait. You two hid a lot from Cesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about now? Are you an open book? You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll end up exactly where I am today.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lyney said, when you're ready, let's head.
but what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lyney,
All right. Well, let's go and watch.
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lyney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Cesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Cesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished. Right in front of my...
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really worth the Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lyney has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand finale. It will make a... Whew. Looks like everyone really loved Lyney's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Lyney anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, oh, you mean the one where... Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed... Alright, let's go look for... Lyney! There you are. Are you alright? Paimon was scared.
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. That's our job. So I tweaked Cesar's original setup a little to keep it fresh. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, suddenly feeling weightless, seeing... Sometimes, did he regret taking Gem?
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's workshop.
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic, but I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I saw was I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves. But with...
So that's why you...
Yes. We figured there was no harm. In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, but in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed soon after, what amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether to tell. Trust is a beautiful thing.
Lyney...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the house, after Cesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of that night, I remembered his smile. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them
Yeah, we've had to say our fair share of goodbyes. Delicious food, fun toys, and the you know, Traveler, doesn't that kind of...
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. Life has taken plenty from us like it did from... That's why the darkness never consumed me and why it never will. All right.
It was amazing! Paimon just...
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are just...
Aw, come on,
Oh, all right. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
you liar!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me.
3, 2...
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers...
Really? Let's see. Wow, there it is! Oh, this is it. But more importantly, Paimon has to know how the trick is...
Well, if you want to learn magic... Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely, the student of...
Is that it?
Ah, look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my... I look forward to see...
All right, shall we head back down too? Let's head to the Steambird